Well, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You may have heard me talk before on this channel about Broadway Limited's Conductors Club, and that's a subscription-based service. You pay a small fee a year, and then it unlocks the ability to purchase special run items, give you discounts, etc. And one of those special run items, the very first of the Conductors Club and HO scale, has now released. It's the HOUP Challenger. These will not be available to the general public. It's just Conductors Club members if they order them. So they're essentially built to order, and that's it. They are sometimes re-releases of other previous runs. So this Challenger was released by Broadway Limited before, but not in Paragon4, in this paint scheme, etc. So we'll look at what you get from the Conductors Club HO scale Challenger starting right now. Now you may be wondering why I've decided to show you the shipping box. It's because the shipping box has inside of it not only the model box, but also it comes with a Paragon4 Rolling Thunder decoder. Not decoder, I'm sorry, receiver I should say. So you have this foam insert in that box. And then in the foam insert is the Conductors Club model in a regular but kind of special box. So in terms of what you get from regular models, but obviously a limited edition box cover. Then you have the Rolling Thunder receiver here. And Rolling Thunder, I thought, is one of the greatest things made outside of the box thinking from a manufacturer, because you take that receiver to any subwoofer with RC jacks, I think they're called, and you can plug it up and get a nice bass effect like your trackside, and I've covered that several times. If you haven't seen it, check out my Rolling Thunder review. Here's the locomotive in its packaging and box. You see that there, and you just slide the cover off. Again, limited edition print on that cover. And then here is 3977, which is a Challenger. It's currently preserved and in a rail park. I want to say I've been there, but I can't remember if it's North Platte or Colorado. I think it's North Platte area. But anyway, there is 3977. So let me slide this out. You got your outer plastic. The two sides fall off that help with bracing the locomotive, keeping it from moving in shipment. Then we got a little clamp here. There's traction tires with a tool to install. There is a little funnel for smoke. There's some additional couplers, probably for the front. And the model itself, very heavy. I believe that's die cast. So, and we're going to have too much loco for the turntable, so I'll try to get a surface under here we can look at this on. Alright, I've covered Broadway Limited Challengers before, so we'll just briefly touch on some features. The main update on this is going to be Paragon4. But as you can see, there's going to be a little slouch in the middle of this box due to the lack of support, so that's not the model. But you got your flying number boards, lit marker lights, UP shield on the smoke box door. Whoop! Getting away from me here. LED headlight. You have your smoke deflectors on 3977, 3985. Does not have those present. They have a cow catcher or pilot, you want to call it, up front with a coupler cut lever. There's crew access ladders to the walkways along the side where you see that yellow sill. Pistons for the two sets of drivers. I think this has essentially two engines in it, like the big boy, but I could be wrong about that. Grab irons along the side, along with molded details in the boiler jacket. You got puffing smoke on this, so you're going to have the smokestack present. There's a whistle, and there's also the sanding dome and boiler domes, safety pop-off valves, dynamo there as well. Zoom in for you a little bit. You can see all that rivet detail on the firebox towards the rear, trailing trucks, side rods, eccentric cranks, etc. on the drivers. You do have cab figures installed as well on this. And as we take a little closer look, you can see that detail a little more up close. I'll just go back this way. You can take a look at what I've covered so far, things I've missed that you steam experts know that I don't. Got your drop step there, or tread plate I should say, going from the locomotive to the tender. This is an oil burner 3977 as well, so it is 3985, which I'll show you. You can see all the rivet detail on the tender here, the water hatches, toolboxes, etc. Crew access ladder. On the rear, rivet detail, rear marker lights with electrical conduit on there. Your rear lights, gallon specifications. Sorry, that's getting away from me again. There is your silver tipped end brake line hose, coupler cut bar, coupler, etc. on the back. And here's a look straight down the locomotive towards the front with more detail on this side, similar to what I've covered already, with some variations obviously. So if you want a full review of the Challenger, be sure to check out my full review on the Broadway Limited Paragon4 Challenger. Many of the same features minus the sound differences. So there is a 360 of 3977. Let's look at 3985 quickly. Starting from that rear, you've got waterline marks there on the rear tender, which is accurate for 3985's excursion version. Oil burner, so no coal in this tender, also accurate for 3985. It did burn coal for a very, very short while before they converted it. You have dynamo, a lot of the same detail I talked about before on the other version, minus the smoke deflectors. So this model is really, really nice. Just give you a quick 360 here. You got your finer details as well, like builder's plates, etc. on the side. There's a look at 3985. You can see all that plumbing by the firebox there. Blow down plumbing, etc. And silver caps on both the trailing trucks and the centipede tender trucks, which is nice. It's also accurate for 3985. And we're back to the rear here. Right, again, there are some differences in Paragon4 versus Paragon3, but I do want to cover just a few of the functions. As you can see, puffing smoke. I've turned off the headlight, so if I turn that back on, you hear the dynamo spin on, and then it slowly turns on the number boards, class lights, and headlight. Here's the bell. And the whistle. You see it has a smoking whistle. That's pretty cool. I like that feature. And if you don't like it, you can turn it off. Now, Paragon4 features Pro Lighting Mode or Standard Mode. So with Pro Lighting Mode, you can change the lighting, individually control the lighting, cab light, class lights, headlight, number board lights. But we're going to do Standard Mode lighting here and that's how we'll operate this. There's also F22, which is the alternate whistle. I like that one better personally. So there's your standard whistle. Alternate is here. So it's a little hard to see the smoke with this white container, so I'll just drop that down so you can see a little better. Both this puffing smoke there. See the cab light is on, but after speed step 3 it's off. So with a little bit of better background here, you can see puffing smoke. And the whistle. Going back a little bit here. See that cab light turns off after speed step 3. And you see that puffing smoke synchronized to the 4 chuffs per revolution of the driver. Alright, so I think that's enough with that. You get the point. Air pumps are F4. Go back a little bit here. So you hear those. You hear the reverser when I change directions. If I always blow down at idle. So 9's start up and shut down extended. 10's oil injector. Eleven's water injectors. Twelve is brake set, brake release. 13 is grade crossing whistle. So it still blows the whistle steam with that. And then you've got a whole bunch of background sounds from 14 all the way to 21. 22 is that secondary whistle toggle I told you about. 23 is flyby whistle, that's new. Let's listen to that. So that's like a Doppler effect whistle. 24 is rear tender class lights on and off. 25 is long whistle. 26 playback, macro or chord macro is 27, and brake squeal is 28. So the macro thing I've explained before, it's simply you record a sequence of horn and speeds, and then you can play that back and automatically go around your layout if you have a loop, obviously, without any issues. A little hard to tell, but the rear tender lights are on and they can be operated individually as well. And then you got your cab light that I mentioned before. And obviously the tender direction light, if you switch into reverse, is going to come on as well. All right, here's 3985. More of the same essentially. Got your puffing smoke. Got your whistle. Just wanted to show you that in operation. We'll go back real quick. This thing's a little quick off the speed step 1, but here's the whistle again. So there's that. You can see how 3985 looks. Let's do a pull test and then wrap this Conductors Club video up. All right, the last thing we want to do is an updated pull test so you can see what we're dealing with that. Probably would be a good idea to be hooked up to that. I'm going to have to zero this out again. We'll move it. So still insane pull tests. Like 12. You know, it's just like so many cars. It's ridiculous. You know, according to this pull test, these locomotives could pull 200 cars in some cases. So it's going to be able to pull whatever excursion stuff or freight you want to do. But there's your pull test. That's going to wrap up our review of the 4664 Challengers from Broadway Limited and HO scale. Conductors Club exclusive locomotives. So if you missed out, your only opportunity is the secondary market. And I don't see many of these Conductors Club models popping up there. But I will tell you that these locomotives are well executed. They have nice lighting, and the die-cast construction of the locomotive and the pulling power is amazing. Speaking of pulling power, we'll focus on the run-by for just a brass consist. I've looked at what 3985 ran in its later years after the water tenders became Jim Adams and Joe Jordan with the flag on one of them, and I found some consists that match up pretty well to what I've made in this entirely brass consist, with the exception of the water cars. So we'll leave you with a couple areas of run-by on my layout, including the new Cheyenne area, and we'll see you next time right here on the channel. Take care.